What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Charlie Savidge, and today we are counting down numbers 20 through 11 in my top 100 games list. Yes, that's right, we're finally in the top 20 games from here out. These are definitely my favorite games of all time, so please hit that like, hit that subscribe, bring that little notification bell. Thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. It means the world to me. Things are going up, and I really do appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and please enjoy. Sailing onto the list at the 20th spot is Ubisoft's 2014 release, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. To this very day, I still think this is the best pirate game out there. I'm going to be honest, I don't even think that I wanted to be a pirate, and all of a sudden I couldn't stop after nearly 100 hours. I love the ship combat, and it can be challenging at times, but it's also quite rewarding when you take down the legendary ships. Additionally, Haytham Kenway is one of the most lovable assassins since Ezio. His role as a pirate and assassin is absolutely fantastic, and it's honestly such a great balance and diversion from all the normal Assassin's Creed bullshit. Also, exploring sailing both land and sea fulfills this game with such a great, wonderful feeling of adventure that's damn near therapeutic until things get hairy. But do yourself a favor and play the ever-living hell out of this game. I can't recommend this enough. Time warping its way onto the list to the number 19 spot is Squaresoft's classic JRPG, Chrono Trigger. This game is an epic science fiction and fantasy tale that deals with time traveling, branching past storylines, as well as featuring some fantastically written characters, many of which have iconic designs thanks to the work of Akira Toriyama, who is best known for his work on the Dragon Ball Z series. When it comes to gameplay, it's easy to compare this to a lot of its contemporaries, but this game's wonderful active turn-based battle system is just pure JRPG bliss. Exploring and navigating the world itself and its various venues is a fun endeavor. Hell, this game even has racing, and it's actually really good. I don't want to spoil a bit of this fantastic game for you, but just trust me and start playing it right away. Wandering its way onto the list at the 18th spot is Obsidian Entertainment's 2010 release Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas is by far and away the best Fallout title in my opinion. I love the setting of it being in Vegas, which brings together gambling in the Sin City setting to a post-nuclear and Old West style. I also love the faction system. So many of your choices affect your standings with different groups of people, and inversely, two groups are connected to each other. This game allows you to kill any character aligned with different groups, and truly work within the story of the game to allow multiple endings, courses of action. It's a truly fantastic game. That being said, so many of the factions are incredibly fascinating, and they have a wide variety of characters that make up all of them. Once again, I highly recommend going through Fallout New Vegas. It's an incredibly unique experience that is entirely based off the feeling of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign in a different setting. Cockfighting its way onto the list of the number 17 spot is United Front Games' 2012 release, Sleeping Dogs. The game follows the story of Wei Shen, a former San Francisco Police Department officer who has been taken into a gang, and while working undercover in his native country of Hong Kong, he has to balance his newfound loyalties to his gang as well as his loyalty to the police department. I don't want to spoil it for you, but what you get is absolutely incredible. In terms of gameplay, it's an open world game set in a city that is much more focused on being dense with things to do rather than just being large, so they try to add depth wherever it's possible. This includes sewers, neighborhoods, karaoke bars, restaurants, cockfighting, whatever. Combat-wise, this game has a branching tree RPG system that can help you expand martial arts combat system, similar to the Spider-Man or the Batman Arkham games, but it's a bit more grounded and so much more violent. Wei can be seen breaking knees, using blades, and using his environment to brutally execute his foes. There are so many reasons you should play this game, I just hope you enjoy it. I definitely did. Wrenching its way onto the list at the 16th spot is Insomniac Games' 2003 release, Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. To be honest, it's really hard to rate the Ratchet and Clank games that I love, but this one is probably the one where I can say that I truly fell in love with the game series. The game features so many of my favorite planets, my favorite plot twists, and it set the tone that created the formula for every game following. I love collecting bolts, the weapon variety, leveling them up, going into challenge mode. Some of my favorite additions to this game were the combat arena and the racing. I love the idea of adding puzzles, but they were admittedly what got me stuck as a child when I played them, and I will loathe them for the rest of my life for that. That being said, everything else that is there is some of the best gameplay that the PlayStation 2 has to offer, and the gameplay and writing are just as fresh today as they were back in 2003, and that's really saying something. This game is totally worth revisiting or playing through your first time if you've never even played a Ratchet and Clank game. It's fantastic, and I almost guarantee you'll fall in love. Anti-grabbing its way onto the list at the 15th spot is Nintendo's 2007 release Super Mario Galaxy. This is probably the most critically acclaimed 3D platformer in existence. Selling over 12 million copies and having a 97 on Metacritic, it's safe to assume that I'm not alone in my high placement of this title. For those who don't know, The standout feature of this game is the 3D levels, changing gravity, perspectives to run around what feels like isolated 3D art dioramas, many with their own unique styles and concept. If you somehow haven't played this game, it's as fun as it is interesting, and it certainly is incredibly interesting. So do yourself a favor, take your time, enjoy this game, go explore all the different weird and wacky and fun levels, collect all the stars, unlock Luigi, do the whole thing. It's totally worth your time. Adventuring its way on the list at the 14th spot is Naughty Dog's 2011 release Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. If there was a game that has set pieces and moments that live rent-free in my head when I daydream, this is it. While there is a bit of deliberation as to which Uncharted is better, 2 or 3, I could honestly swap them. But regardless, I love this game. What I love is how well it shows Nathan Drake's past, his relationship with Elena, and how they totally almost killed Sully, but just didn't. The game's flaws seem to come in with Cutter. He seems cool enough, but he's entirely random and underdeveloped. I also love this game's antagonist. That being said, this game is totally worth your time, and is a cinematic, action-packed, fun adventure. I still think it's one of the better experiences on the PlayStation 3, and you can still play it on both the PS4 and the PS5, so there's really no excuse not to play this. Tethering its way onto the list at the 13th spot is Insomniac Games' 2021 release, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This revitalized a lot of interest in the series, myself included. I've talked about the affinity of several games in the franchise, but this game is really what brought it all back and culminated in a truly special experience. And to boot, they put it on PS5, which honestly feels so surreal with how far this series has come over the past 2 decades. It's got the gameplay and the characters that I love, with the added bonus of being the most technically impressive entry in the franchise thus far, and it pairs it with some of the best art direction as the game is popping with colors. I didn't even mention the musical score that this game has that makes it all the more better. And I know that I said it takes it back to what made the game series so good in the first place, but also it took the time to introduce wonderful new characters that I honestly love so much. If you haven't played it yet, and I know it's hard to find at PS5 right now, but definitely try to find a way to play this game. It's spectacular in my opinion. Hijacking the 12th spot on the list is Naughty Dog's 2000 release, Jak II. This game has been ever present in my life and I absolutely love it. Was it because I struggled to beat it for years at a time? Yes. I literally only started playing it by around 2005 and I didn't beat it until I got it remastered on the PS3 in 2013. But regardless of how hard it is, it's a game that I try to replay every couple of years or so now. This game is one of the most nostalgic for me and it gave me an affinity for science fiction in a lot of ways and formed my sense of humor thanks to Dexter. What I love most about this game is the gameplay variety. It's one of the best 3D platformers I've ever played, but it's also got a great driving, fantastic racing missions, incredibly fun hoverboard. That being said, I love the science fiction, dystopian, cyberpunk-inspired authoritarian hellhole that this game takes place in. The world is just rife with politics that I wish were somewhat explored more, but for a PS2 game, that's just fine. Overall, this game's story is probably one of the shining spots, which is amazing because it's also incredibly well designed. Snaking its way onto the list is Sucker Punch's 2001 release, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. This was one of the first video games that I ever owned, and it's still a fantastic title. Sly Cooper is my favorite video game character and is one of my favorite game series, period. While this game isn't quite as good as the other ones, the older I get, the more I appreciate the initial design of Sly and the crew and the vision that they had. This game feels a lot more like Crash Bandicoot than what the series morphs into, but what is here is a melding of genres. What this game pairs together is 3D platforming, a very healthy dosage of stealth influence. Sometimes you do have to fight, but it's okay because the basic combat and unique abilities and gadgets that you unlock along the way help you in your adventure. All of this to steal back what is yours and what was stolen from your parents when you were a child and people that killed them. The crew to assist you are your best friends from an orphanage. Sly and his gang must go to the 5 farthest corners of the earth just to get parts of a book. What unfolds and follows is so much more. Overall, this game sets the tone and the foundation of a series that becomes so much greater, and it still holds up and is totally worth your time today.